Good morning, guys. Let's get started. So day 5 of our training session. We'll go over a few things what we have covered yesterday, like in the last session, and then subsequently we'll continue today. Okay. So these are the items what we have covered in our day 4 session. So we saw how to create calculations, basically how to create computed field. So in that computed field, how we created the calculated field on top of the dates, how to create the calculated field to create the dashboard on KPIs. We also talked about how to create a calculated field to groups, to create the groups. So in place of creating a group by department or by category, we can write calculation scripts to do that. And then mostly we focused on the data type. So when you have date calculation, how to create the difference, date difference, how we have seen the string function, there are other mathematical functions, and then also we created the tabular report, and in tabular report we created row total, column total, then subtotal. So those are the activities, right? We'll again continue today how to create weighted average and the grand total, and then we will also continue to create certain year-over-year change, and then on the year-over-year change we will also create the parameters. So now we applied filter by selecting certain values or by selecting all values. Now we will see how we can pass the parameter. Suppose a few business users wants to see top 10 and other users wants to see top 20. So we cannot hardcode 10 or 20 to show that in the dashboard and the visualization. So what we can do is we can give them the parameter, so as for their own requirement they can select whether they want to see top 10 student in the class, or they want to see top 20 selling items from this particular department for this particular product. So that's can be controlled through parameters. So we'll see how to create parameters and then how we can increase that variable. So when you create a variable, then we can increase the amount by that variable. Okay, so we'll talk about that. So let's go to the Tableau desktop. Alright, so we connected to Tableau desktop, and let's go and connect to my superstore. That is my saved database. So already we created the connection and we save it to Tableau repository. So let's connect to my superstore, which is nothing but connecting to the order table in that database. Okay, so here you can see that those are the list of dimensions, and in the measure section you see the list of measures. And now let's say I want to take the department to the row. Then let me see. So we'll create it, basically we will create a tabular report, and then we will create the aggregation, the total, the row total and column total, and then we'll create the running total. So that's the objective of this one. So let's take the category, and from region, let's take the region to the column. Okay, so now automatically it built the tabular report. So now we do not have the measure yet. So let's say I want to take the sales to the text. Now what happens? Your department, here you have the category, and here in the column in the text we have given in the column we have given the region, and then we have the data, which is nothing but the sum of cell. So these are the total cell. All right, so let's say what we'll do is, so you can highlight whichever section you want to highlight. Here let's go to format, there is border. So if you want to give there is a row divider, so let's say I want to give the row divider as this one. Okay, so in that way you can create the row divider, you can give column divider, so whatever you want you can set that here. Okay, so now you have row divider, you have column divider. You can change the label. So if you want to format the label, you can do the formatting label. You can rotate the label, so if you click on rotate label, it will change like this. So it's basically most of the things will be the formattings, so that you can do part of your visualization standpoint to make it better look and feel. Okay, so now let's say what we want to do is we want to insert. Okay, I don't want to give the column total. Analysis total, then you can say the show row grand total or show column grand total. Okay, so if you say show row grand total, it will show you the total of that row, and if you go to analysis total, show column grand total, then that will give you the column grand total. Okay, so if you say I can make it as total cells. Okay, then we'll go analysis, then say total, add subtotal. So what it will do, each section it will add one line saying furniture how much. Then you can give you can edit this label as well, and you can do the formatting, highlight, whatever you want. You can give that bold, so those information you can give. Alright, so that is by department. Now we created a grand total, column total, and then we have also created the subtotal. Now what I'm going to do is let's make a copy of this worksheet. Paste. Okay, so I just created a copy of that. So there are different options. Either you create a copy and paste, or you say duplicate sheet. So if you want to delete this, let's say delete the sheet, and you want to go here and say duplicate sheet, so automatically it will create another tab with a sheet 2. Now let's say I will give the name here as weighted average. Weighted average cell. Okay, so I'll say weighted average. So what we are seeing here is the total. So now this is not the average. So if I go here and I change this from measure is by default sum. So in place of sum, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it as average. So now if you see that, so it is not showing the total cells, it is saying the average cells, and then whatever sum you are seeing from the row or grand total column, you just need to make sure the cursor is at the correct place, then you can expand it. Okay, so now you can see, so this is the average average cell, total average cell. Okay, so now let's say you want to go here to the analysis, and there is one called total. So if you go to total all using average, so what it will do, so when you are going to the total all, so either it is row total or grand total of the rows or columns, then if you say total all using average, then it will average the total. So if you see that column total changed and row total changed, right? So this is okay, so that's to average either to the row total or to the column total. So if you see the sum, so it will sum of this all the regions and then divided by 4, then that will give you the row total for bookcase for that particular row. So that's how your totaling happens. So you are not writing any code in PL SQL statements, whereas you are using these menu options to derive the total. This is a very frequently asked requirements by business users for any department, for any dashboarding. They want to see the total of sales, profit, headcounts, what kind of report you prepare by rows, by columns, or by grand total. Okay, and then depending on their requirement, so if it is a total using average, if it is a headcount report, minimum, maximum, sum, all these options you can select. Alright, so now let's talk about creating a running total. So we saw how to create the total, grand total, row total and column total, and then we did how to create the weighted average cells, and after the weighted average cells we also saw how to create the average cells at the total. So total average cells using this analysis menu. So we saw that analysis, total, after inserting row total, grand total, subtotal, then we saw that total all using average. So if you want to remove all the subtotals, you can say remove all subtotals. Automatically it will remove that. So if you want remove it, so that all subtotal has gone. So if you want to bring back, so all subtotals, so automatically it will show you the subtotals. Alright, so now let's go to another tab and say running total. So these are the very frequently asked requirements, so just that's why we are going over it and seeing how does it work. Okay, okay, so to create the running total, let's say we'll create a quarterly sales report by department. Okay, so let's say we will create a quarterly sales report by department. I can take the department to the row and then order date, let me say the order date here. So what I'm going to do is this will be quarter, yeah, this will be year, and then let me say sales and drop it on the text. So now you see that you are seeing quarter, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, and then you have by department, and then subsequently you have here the year. So 10, 11, 12, and 13, and then Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Alright, so let's go here to format, then you can say border. So row divider, let's say we will give some row divider so you can easily differentiate which row and what quarter you are showing up. Okay, so here you have sales, drop down, sales as the measure. So now let's go here, and here called quick table calculation. So if you look at this, all the calculations are available. Quick table calculation. In that quick table calculation, you have running total, you have difference, you have rank, you have YTD total. Sometimes user ask, I want to see a YTD total, means year to date, QTD, quarter to date, so or month to date. So that kind of report also they ask, or year over year growth. So even sometimes they ask year over year growth. Okay, now let's say go for running total. Click on running total. So what happens? How did it get changed? So if we created that, so what it does, so it running total, it added off to horizontally what was the 2010 Q1, then 2011 becomes 2010 plus 2011, then 2012 Q1 becomes 2010 plus 2011 Q1 plus 2012 Q1. So it is showing horizontal. So now if I want to go here, compute using table down, so I did table across, so that's why it is showing horizontally. If I create as table down, so what it will do is it will just calculate it down, and if I want to say across and then down, then automatically it will calculate the horizontally running total, and then after that it will add off to the down. But if I say down, so you keep your eyes on this one. So you have 466, you have 449, then you have 432. So what it will do is first Q2 will be 466 plus 449. Now you see that. So you have 466, then 429, that all added up, this 915, and then Q3 added up, then Q4 added up. Okay, so in that way you can see the running total, how much Q1 plus Q2, Q2 plus Q3. So that will give you quarter to date. Suppose QTD, you say QTD of Q3, so that means how much you got till quarter 3. Okay, so in that way we can select it. Okay, so now let's go here. What we'll do is we'll create another sales instance. Okay, so now if you look at this, what was the original value, and then how, let's rearrange it. So I just moved here. If you rearrange here, automatically your dashboard will be rearranged, your visualization will be rearranged. So now you see this was the regular cell, then this is the running total. Okay, so this is the sales 2010, 11, 12 and 13, and then subsequently you have a running sum of cells along table down. So it clearly says it is table down, so you can see that Q2 2010, which is quarter to date of Q2, is equals to Q1 of 2010 plus Q2 of 2010. So that sums up to 915278. So similar to Q3 and Q4. Alright, so now if let's say I will arrange it here. Okay, so now you can see different way of creating the visualization. So you have department, you have quarter, and then for particular year, how is the running total. So in that way you can visualize how your sales and the running sum of sales, running total for the sales, how the QTD for that particular year differ from the QTD from next year or subsequent years. Okay, so that's how we create the running total. Okay, now let's talk about how to create a year over year. So I want to see some, suppose the year over year change. So let's say I will go to another tab. These are very frequently asked requirements. So year over year change, month over month change, or look at the QTD reports, a running total by quarter to date or year to date, and then adding the grand total and a row total, column totals, and soft totals. These are very frequently asked questions. All right. So the way we created this one, the way we have total cells, the way we created the weighted average cells, so same way we created the running total. So again, in the running total, if you want to insert a row total or column total, you can do that as well. So if you say so row total, so automatically it will take a row total. Okay, how much the cells, how much the running total cells. So in that way you can create a row total. So if you want to create a column total, you can give a column total. Okay, so automatically the scroll bar will also come. So if you go for a visualization mode, then you can see how your dashboard will fit into your screen. Okay, because when you are developing, when you are designing, your screen might be small, but when you uh, go to the dashboarding, so your screen will fit into your laptop or desktop. So in that time you can easily differentiate how is your visualization going to looks like. Okay, so in that way you can change your settings. All right, so let me take it out. All right, so let's go for year over year change. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a similar report, and then what I'm going to do, I will see how we will create a year over year reports. Okay, all right, so what we can do is in the row, in the column, let me pull the column is the quarter order date to the column, and let me take cells. So automatically it pulled the year and year to date, and then what is my cell. Okay, so now let's add another instance of the cells here to the row. Okay, so you can see there are two line chart automatically got created because I added the two instance of the same measure. So I have cells, so I just added two instance of that, so it is showing me the similar graph but two instance of it. Okay, so let me apply some filter here. So in this way we are doing the same exercise again and again, so you will easily do, like, remember what are the functionality very frequently used when you create a visualization, like what are the rows, columns, then filter, or you drag the measure to the text, or you drag the measure to the column, or you drag the measure to the detail, and automatically your graphs, charts, everything will change. Alright, so in the filter, let me say I will add only table. Okay, so this is the table cell for subsequent years 2010, 11, 12, and 13, and then you applied that filter condition. But if you want to change anything, you can right click, show quick filter, so automatically it will show off here, so you can select whatever you want. If you want to change table and machine or only table, you can do that. And if you don't want to see that quick filter here at this point, so in generally we allow the quick filter to be visible during the dashboarding. So during your design, whatever you wants to filter, you just apply the filter so that you have enough space available in this area to look at your visualization. That is very important because you are building some visualization which should look better for the end user standpoint. Alright, So now let's say I'll go to these cells. Let's go quick table calculation. So we already saw that year running total in the previous one. So let's say year over year growth. I'll click on year over year growth. So what happens in the second measure? It says how your 2011 to 2012 it has gone off to this, and it said difference in sales of previous year is 58%, 58.35. And then after that what happens? So if you keep your cursor here, it will say difference in sales between 2012 and 2013 is 1.09, and it has reduced the sales, right? Alright, so you have different combinations, and in the particular selection of the years. And if you want to go here and say you have two measures, so one is your line chart and one is your both are line chart, but the second cells, let me make it as a bar chart. So this will say you what was the 2011 sales, what happens in 2012, and then what happens in 2013. So here then let me drag this to the colors. So let's drag second one, press Control and Shift. Okay, so drag it to the collar. So in that way it will differentiate what was the this was minus 13% from the regular level of cell, and then it has gone off to 58.35%. you can see that here. So it all this calculation has done by Tableau itself, and then you have this low cells in 2013. So here if you see, so it says greater than 1, so it should be it's almost null, so it is not able to trace it out in the map. So it's saying like there is an error, greater than 1 null. Okay, so what do you say here? Say there are two options, either you say filter the data, or you say show the data as default position. So show the special value at a default position on the axis. For example, null value will be shown as 0. So as this is null, so it is not able to trace it out, so you say null value also show it as 0. So in that way it will just maintain that whatever value is there, it will not show you that error message. It will just pick the default value and it will show it out. Alright, so that's how you see your year over year data, 2011, 2012 and 2013, and you have given that measures to the color, so automatically it does the color coding for you to differentiate. And if you want to change and you want to see the quick filter and you don't want to see for a table, you say I want to see for envelope, you can see that. If you want to say for a book or office or chair, that also you can show. So whichever you want, you can do that. And if you want to allow the user just to select only one, then you go here, edit, then single value selection. Okay, so if you say single value drop down, then there will be a single value drop down. So if you give drop down, you are not writing any JavaScripting or anything to select a drop down, so you just change it to drop down, automatically it will make a drop down for you. Now you change that paper, automatically that value changed. So let's go for a visualization. So now you have that, so all the drop down. So if you have all and you have envelope, so everything you can change, and you say table, so automatically you will grab it, right? So that's how you are doing a design. So you need to make sure you understand it pretty well, what are the features available and what you can allow user to edit in the dashboard itself. Okay, so you can include, exclude, all these operations you can perform here. Alright, so let's move on to another one. So now we have seen how to create all the total cells, how to create row total, column total, average, weighted average cells. Then we saw how to create the running total, and subsequently we have seen the year over year report. In the running total we have seen how to create the running total from the across the table or down the table, and then we also saw like that's nothing but your QTD report or YTD report. You can create in that way as well. And then in the year over year report we have seen how your report changed with the different visualization with the different color coding. Okay, now let's say we will create the filter, but we will use the parameters. So what we did last time said top 10, so we did hard coding. When you apply suppose category to a filter condition, then it asks you to select the value. So I did suppose last time I select table, or then you have a top function, select top, then we select top 10. So we enter a value here saying top 10 or top 20 or top 30, right? But here there is an option called create a parameter. So we cannot restrict the user only to select top 10. So if the one user wants 10 top selling item for this department, other one might be looking for top 20. So in that way what we need to do is we need to create a parameter, and we have to give that opportunity to the end user, so they should able to make their own selection by changing the value to the parameter. Okay, alright, so let's go here and I'll say top n filter. So in place of top 10 I'll say top n, and n is the parameter, so that can be entered by end user at any point of time. Alright, so let's let me connect to a new database. For example, I will go to, let's go to Summer Olympic. You drag and drop here Olympics. Okay, so you see that the all other 4 tabs are connected to Superstore. Now I'm connecting to another tab. Okay, let me give a different color. Okay, so you can make a different color. So what it will happen is it will be easily understandable that these are all connected to one database, and then others are connected to other database. So you have all options to do that. Change it, and then this one, make it red. Okay, so we connected to this Olympic one. Now, so let's say if, we'll create one computed column. Here we have bronze, we have medal, gold and silver. Let's say total medal, we can create one computed column. How to do that? So analysis, create calculated field, or you just right click here, create calculated field. So when you say, let's say total medals, I can make that as a sum of bronze plus silver and gold. So keep your cursor here, bronze, gold and silver. Alright, the formula is valid. click OK. So now you have a total medals. So you have bronze, gold and silver, and then also you have one more called total medals. Okay, let's say I will check country to the row. So we'll create a filter and we'll apply parameter there. Okay, we'll create a parameter and then we'll apply the parameter there. Okay, before doing that, let's create a parameter as well. So right click here, that is called create parameter. The way we created one computed field, let's say create parameter. So I will give the name as top n countries. I'll give this as integer. Current value, let's say 10. So it will show by default top 10. So current value is nothing but the default value you are giving, and then you have display format, say automatic, and then here allowable value. So if you want to say all or least or range, so if you say range, then it will ask you what is the minimum, what is the maximum, and what is the step size. So say minimum is 1 and maximum is 50, and then you say step size is 1. So that means first you can go to the lowest of 1. So top 1, the topper. If you want to find who was the toppest one who got that medal, the one who is the topper, and then maximum you can go to 50 up to top 50, and then the step size is 1. So that means when they navigate, they can increase by 1. Okay, so in that way you can make the step size as well. Alright, click OK. So you will see here in the below there is one more section came called parameters. So you have database, you have dimensions, you have measures. Now we created parameters, so you saw that one section here. The way we created one set, we saw one section here in the left panel called set. So same way it is parameter called top n countries. Okay. Alright. So now let's say we have measure name and we have measure value. So let me drag and drop the measure value here, and let me drag and drop the measure name in the filter. Alright, so I have the medal counts, then these are the country, and within the country we have let's say rearrange it. Gold, say gold and silver and bronze. Alright. Okay, so now we have measure, and then we have country, and then we saw like how many bronze, gold and silver. So let's say we will apply that filter condition now. Okay, so let's say I'll drag this country to the filter. So here I'll go to the top, and here by field, in place of top 10, what I'll select, I'll set top n countries. So that is the parameter which we created. So in place of giving the hard coding here, we'll use that parameter top 10, and then by total medals. So I will pick the top 10 countries by total medals, but I can have the opportunity, I can give the opportunity to the end user to select, to change that parameter value. If they want to see top 5, top 20, top 15 according to their requirement, they can still select it. So that's why in place of hard coding we picked up the parameters which we created before. Now click OK. Alright, so now what we can do is right click here, so show parameter control. So the way we apply the filter, say show context filter, the same way what we can do here is show parameter control. So now click on that show parameter control, so automatically it will show up here. So let's go to presentation mode. So you can see that here that is called top 10 because the default value we have given is 10, so that's why it says top 10. So lowest you can go 9, 8, 7, 6. So the step we have given as 1, so it will go one step back. Okay, now if you increase it, or you can type in here. So if you go here, just wait. Okay, so in place of 5, 6, 7, you can change it to 8, 9, 10, top 10, top 20, however you want, you can do that. So there is an option here. If you give that edit parameter or edit title, you can do that. So you have slider and you have type in. So if you give us type in, so what will happen? So user has to type in. Okay, so in place of slider it will become an input box. So now you see that become an input box. So if in place of 10 I will give 5, automatically it picks up and it filters 5. So everything you are giving the opportunity to control because you have set a parameter, and the parameter value you have set the minimum and maximum, and user has the opportunity to enter the value as per their requirement. Okay, so if I go maximum, I can go up to 50, but if I say 100, it will not show anything, it will bring back to 50 because the parameter what we created, you see that. So if I enter 100 here, still it will bring me 50 because the maximum is 50. Alright, so if I say 10, so automatically it will give me 10. So in that way you can change whether you want to keep a slider or you want to create a type in, and how you can create the right click and edit. If you click right click edit, it will take you to that top 10 country. So here in the maximum I have given 50. So if I make it 100, then I can allow user to enter up to 100. If I say step size is 2 or 3, then I can do that 2 or 3 here. So however I want to give the step size, automatically your graph will change. So let's say I want to make it as a slider, right? So what this slider will do, so if you go here, it is 11, so now it will take you to 9, it will take you to 7 because it will go 2 step back, and same way it will take you to 2 step forward. Alright, so that's how your filter controlled through a parameter. You will be creating n number of parameters because in the real-time project none of the business will allow you to create hard coding because they want the control in their hand, so that they do not want to do lots of maintenance and come back and say, hey, not 10, now make it 20 or 25 or 30. So this should be handled through parameters so that business has the control to change their visualization as per their requirements. Alright, so that's about how we create the filters. Okay, so let's take 5 minutes break, and then we will again continue some other stuff like how to increase the amount by variable, how to create a variable, and then how to increase that amount of sales or whatnot through that variable. And then also we will create a couple of charts that is called combined axis chart. So that is also another important thing. In most of the cases in the real time, they will be looking for 2 different measures in the same chart. So whatever we are creating now is always we are focusing on one measure, say sales or profit, but we will see how in the combined chart, same chart, we can see the sales and profit as 2 measures, and we'll see how they are
are dependent on each others. Okay, so let's take break for 5 minutes and we'll come back again.
Alright, so let's get started. What we have done is like how we created a parameter, and using that parameter how we control the filter conditions in the visualization. So when you create a worksheet, before you apply the filter and giving some hard-coded value, we created a parameter and then we picked off that parameter in the filter top condition. So say in place of go to here, the parameter, click on edit, and we saw that how we can change the value. So suppose you want to create a string type parameter, you can set that parameter condition from integer to data type to integer data type to string type. Same way you can right click here, create parameters. So you can create n number of parameters and then you can apply whether it will be a string type or date type or boolean type. So sometimes true and false, so that kind of condition will be your boolean condition, so you can do that as well. Let's talk about how to increase the value, the variable increase. So you will increase the amount using a variable. So the way we apply the filter using a parameter, same way we will increase the amount by a variable. So let's go here and connect to my superstore, and let me take the department and then category. Let me have sales. Okay, so we have by department, by category, what is the total sale. Okay, so now right click here, create parameter, just wait. So if you select a particular member and then right click on the parameter, automatically it will think you are going to apply a parameter on that particular member. So it will show off all the list of value exist in that member, and then it will allow you to create the parameter. So better to click it on any white space in that section, so automatically it will create only a blank parameter. Blank parameter window will be open. Okay, so now let's get the name of parameter to increase percentage. So I want to increase the sales target by giving a percentage control. So I'll say increase percentage. So percentage will, let's have that as a float. So keep the current value default as 1. And the display format, I want to show it as percentage. Let's have decimal place as 1 or something. And here let's say the allowable value, minimum, maximum, and step size. So minimum is 1 and maximum is say 2 and the step size say 0.05. Alright, so 1 to 2 it will increase the percentage by 0.05. Alright, so click OK. So you will see that here there is another parameter got created, that's called increase percentage. Right click here and show parameter control, so it will show you that control. And you can have that as a slider or you can have that as a type in.
So when you have that as a slider, so now you see, let's say you can slide it. So now this parameter what we created, we have not applied that parameter, that variable, into the cells. So we just created a parameter and created a value, variable percentage parameter, and now we are going to use that and create a calculated field. So let's say I will go here, right click, create a calculated field, says sales target. So I'll give sales target will be let's say this will be sum of sales multiplied with okay, let me see. Should I have that? Okay, so we created that parameter called increase percentage. So it's that sum of sales multiplied with increase percentage. Click OK. So your new member got created in the measure called sales target. Drag it and drop it here. So this was the sales, and then you have the sales target. Let's go analysis. Oops, let's go to format, and in the border apply the row divider here. Okay, so you can specifically format as well particular column if you want. You can select, and then you can row formatting and column formatting, you can do that as well. So that's not an issue. So let's go here. So you have sales and you have the sales target. Let's expand it a little bit. Okay, so this was the cell, and then what you want to slide it. Automatically you see that the value got changed. So when you change this and you want to make it 200%, so 200% is not exactly the double of this. So what was the sales and what is the target? So sales target is doubled. So that's why you control through that parameter. Whatever value you have for that parameter, it will show up here. So either you slide it, you say I want to make it as 100%. So that means whatever you have sales, exactly the same amount I have the target. So everything matched. So I can create a variance which will be 0. But if you said I have sales and I have target of this year is this much, then how much I have to meet? So I need to see the variance. So let's say you created one calculated field. Create okay, sales variance. Okay, so if you want to create a sales variance, so you can say sales target minus sales. Okay, let's say sum of cells minus, you want to go with sum of cells multiplied with alright. So you said sum of cells minus sum of cells into, or else we can do one thing here. Let's take it to this will be sum of cells plus, and all together put it within a parenthesis, and then minus sum of cells. What I'm doing here is I'm taking the total sum of cells, then I'm calculating that value, sum of cells multiplied with increase percentage, then I'm subtracting from the what was the cells, then from the target minus cells will give me the delta cells variance. Click OK. So drag that cells variance here. Okay. The cells variance should be 0. Let me see that. So you have 300, so it's showing as cells variance is equals to cells variance. So we have to edit it, right click and edit. So this is not calculating correct. So what it is doing here is whatever you see the cells target, that is exactly matching with the cells variance, but our objective is cells okay. So this is my cells variance. Okay, let's say we'll make it as cells target minus so when you have this, for example 50, so now what it is doing is what is cells target exactly showing same as your cells variance. So now go here and edit minus cells multiplied with increase percentage. Cannot mix a aggregate and non-aggregate argument within the functions. Okay, so this is not a expected behavior, so let's change it to, because this is a parameterized cells target, so it is not taking it as sum of cells. So we are increasing this by 2%, so it is getting doubled. So whatever we are increasing, and then we have to subtract that sum of cells, so it will give me the variance. Okay, now let's go edit here. Alright, so now you see that here. So this is my cells and this is my cells target, and then what is the variance? So variance is cells target minus cells. So why it was not picking up? Because it was saying one is aggregated function and one is non-aggregated function, so both cannot be in the same formula. So now, so for example, if you make it as 2 times, so you see exactly the difference is the half. So whatever is the cells target is doubled, then the variance is whatever is the cells target. So you can see that delta. So if you have this, then your variance is 0. If whatever is the cells and whatever is the target, if both meets your target and cells, then your variance is 0. Okay, so that's how you have to create the variance analysis report, and you can set the target by using a variables percentage, and business has the all opportunity to increase their target, and they can generate a report saying, oh, for this particular department we had this much of target but we could not meet it, so we have to meet it. We have to either add some more sales representative, or we need to increase our marketing strategy and expenses. So all those things they can do. So that is how business analyze the data and derive certain other activities as per the data. By looking at the sales data, they derive how much they have to spend for the marketing or sales representative recruitment process. No? So that's how you'll be seeing that. Let's increase, then automatically your variance change. So you'll be creating n number of calculated variables, calculated fields in your real-time scenario, but just need to understand the concept. How does it work? Alright, so now let's go for, and if you want to show the percentage increase also, you can change it here. So now let's move on to axis chart. So we saw that how to create grand totals, row total, column total, running totals, QTD and year-over-year reports. Now we saw how to create top 10 filters, top 10 parameters, and apply that to the filters. Then we saw how to increase the measure by parameters. So you give some measure and then you set some parameter, and that use that parameter value in your formulas. So now let's go for axis chart. Alright, so let's go to axis chart. So we have seen how to create bar chart, line chart. So now this is something called axis chart. So we'll create a combined axis chart. So that's called combined axis chart. So we'll connect to my superstore. Let me take sales to the row. Take department to the row. Okay. So by department, by sales. Let me take customer segment to the column. Okay. So we have department here, customer segments here in the column, then we have the sales. Okay. So let me track. profit the sales. Okay, so now you see there are dual value. So one is your sales and one is your profit. There are two measures in this graph. So in the same graph, the value shows one is sales and one is profit. Let me rearrange it. So one is your sales and one is your profit, right? So now what we can do is let's put it on a color, so it will show me different color coding for sales and profit. Okay, so now you see that. So here it will show you the measure, so what is the sales and what is the profit. So if you want to change the color, you can click on edit color and you can go for sales. Suppose you want to give a different color. So there are lots of out-of-box palettes available in Tableau, so you can change it whatever you want. So when you create a dashboard for traffic lightings, so you can pick whatever color, green, yellow, red, according to your requirement. So same way you can change a lots of options here. If you change it here, the sales will be that green color, profit will be blue in color. You apply it, so automatically the graph will change. So for the visualization standpoint, you can control your graphical user interface. We look out for the dashboards. Okay, so that's called combined axis chart. So we have two measures in the same axis, x and y axis. So in the y axis we have given two measures, one is profit and one is sales. Okay, so let's create one more called combined axis chart with stacked mark. Let's see what is stacked mark. Okay, let me connect to the Olympic Summer Olympic 2012. Let's say bronze. We can drag country to the row. Then we have, let's say, silver to the x-axis where we have bronze. Then I can take, we have bronze, silver, and then we have gold, let's say. Okay, so I have all the countries, then we have bronze, gold and silver, the medals, and then from here, from the row, drag this measure name to the color. So automatically your different color will show up. So how much of like if you go here, edit color, so you can change your color. So automatically it picks how many bronze medal, how many gold, how many silver. So you can change your color coding by selecting different palettes from here. Okay. And if you want to sort it, you can even sort that. So sort ascending, sort descending. You can say sort ascending or sort descending here. So you click sort ascending, it will be this. If you click on sort descending, so it will be sorted descending color. So you can go for the visualization and you can see that how does it look like in your, is going to be look like in your dashboard. Okay, so by this country you have different color coding, and here there is a legend which will show you which color stands for what. And if you keep your cursor here, mouse cursor, it will say country, Russian Federation, gold medal 3. Okay, so you can give that gold, silver and bronze accordingly. So that's how you created the dual axis chart, the combined axis chart basically. And in the combined axis chart we created the stack mark, which will show you for which area, for which country, for how many medals, even with the different color codings. Okay, so let's go over one more called only dual axis chart. Okay, so we have seen combined axis chart, then we have seen combined axis chart with stack mark, and okay, this one was the combined axis chart, and then in the combined axis chart in the same line you have different stack. So this is one, so you know stack, right? One above other, so that's how it looks like. So this is the stack, and then let's go for a dual axis chart. Let me connect to this my superstore. Let me drag sales to the row. Order date to the column, and here by default it will pick at year. So let me say it is month. And here let me select change it to bar chart. So either you come here in the mark card or change it to bar chart, or you can go to the show me, and here also you can change it to whichever chart you want. Okay, so now this is the month. By each month of what is my sales. Then let's go for profit. Okay, so you have to drag and drop it on the right side of sales. So we have two axes now. So one is sales axis, and the right side, if you see, this is the profit. Okay, so sales axis and profit axis. So you just need to drag it. How did I do that? Just see here. So you have just like x-axis and y-axis. So in the x-axis you have months, in the y-axis you have sales. So what you can do is just select profit and drag it and keep the horizontal here and leave it here. So automatically it will create the vertical bar as profit, which will be opposite to the sales. So if they want to see the label of profit and sales by this dual axis chart, now they can easily differentiate. Okay, in the range of $2,000, then what is my sales and what are the profit. So if you want to change anything, then go here to the sum of profit. Okay, now you see. So you change it to the profit as the line chart. So now you have the sales, which is the bar chart. Okay, so and then in that they want to look at the profit, how the profit goes when they have different sales in the different months. So there are lots of visualization requirement will come in the real time from different business units. So you need to just make sure you understand the business requirement very well and what chart they want and what their ask is. So if they are asking, can I create a dual axis chart by showing sales and profit, sales versus profit, and you can say yes, we can do it. We can have lots of options to change your visualization. I can give you the vertical bar chart, which will be your sales. On top of it you have the line charts. Okay, so that's about how we create the parameters, how we created the axis chart, combined axis chart and dual axis chart, and several others, like you change the graphs, the lines, the chart types and everything, right? Let me see. Yeah, combined axis chart and great. Alright, so that's we covered as for today. So any questions? we have 5 minutes. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me, or else we can close the session and I will set up again. I'll send you the meeting invite for day after tomorrow. So tomorrow there will be no class. I have another conflict on other stuff, so I will send you guys the invite for the class 6, the session 6, on Tuesday morning at the same time, 9:30 EST. Any questions? Let me save this one as well. Save as desktop. See, the difference what I did is, if you save it, always save it as packaged workbook, so that it will hold the data source, the connectivity, so all the information. So if I send this package to you guys, or I send it to any user who has the reader, they can still open the data and they can play around it, because it holds the data as well as the visualization both in the packaged workbook. Okay guys, thanks, and again talk to you guys on Tuesday. Will I get the product key?